This race is about to pop off. For those of you that are new to the stream, by the way, my name's Strifium. I do League F1 PC League commentary. I do about 7 different races a week, all 50% distance. So this is kind of my thing, what I'm about to do. I'm more so a commentator than a driver. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out. Those of you that came from IDJ's humble abode, or of course a Dirk Chocolate stream. Thanks for hanging out on a Friday night. So I've had a little bit to drink. We're going to see what we can do. I've got a little bit of experience commentating a race today because I did a 50% Spain earlier, but here's the grid. So, of course, lining up here for the British Grand Prix, we have Nigel on pole position with Lutra in second, lining up next to him on the front row. And, of course, it's Diamond in the Alfa Romeo lining up, rounding off your top 3. You cut maggots. Of course, all of these drivers finalizing their setups here ahead of this 5-lap race around the iconic Silverstone circuit. Make sure they get their proper setups dialed in on those cars. Screw the commentary, bring back the music. Listen, buddy. I'm not the one that wanted to commentate. Freeware redeemed it. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights on here in Silverstone. We have a bit of a jump there from a guy on the rear. That's Lucas Almeida, and he's going to cut down through the field. But of course, it's going to be Nigel leading us through turn 1, and there's a big shootout of cars there. There's a Red Bull very far wide. JX is in 4th still. We're on board with him, as it is currently Lutra leading this race. He has appeared to have overtaken Nigel through turns 2 and 3 now. And it's a great start for him in the Mercedes here. But of course, it's now Diamond who started 3rd, looking for P2 as well. Nigel struggling here on the race start. They're wheel-to-wheel coming through Luffield now. That's the McLaren on the inside. The Alpha now having to worry about the racing point. That's JX behind him. Wisp is not too far behind in the AlphaTauri, but he has his own problems. That's Aphrodite in 6th. Still wheel-to-wheel coming into Cops now. Alfa Romeo on the inside, and he's had an off. Racing point of JX narrowly avoiding him. He's now going to fall through this grid, and he has a good portion of... Well, he doesn't have any damage on that Alfa Romeo, so he is made out like a bandit, escaping that as carefully as he can. Meanwhile, the other racing point of Henners coming out of Chapel down the hangar straight now, wheel to wheel. That's the Ferrari of Aphrodite next to him, and they're going to come into Stowe, and that is a clear-cut overtake from him. That's Henners in P5. OG Goldie currently in the Ferrari, less than half a second behind the Haas. That's Sleeper Agent, and Sleeper Agent a little wide coming out on the rear of Aphrodite, and now it's going to be Goldie looking to close the gap on his teammate. Astro is in 6th, and now Sleeper Agent a little wide there coming through turn 1. Wheel-to-wheel action. How's it gonna go? Who's out in front? It looks like the Ferrari has made the move. Now catching up with his teammate is the objective. Of course, Diamond, who we saw earlier in front. Wheel-to-wheel now. That is the Haas as well, and they've had a huge issue. He is off into the gravel pit, and that is just terrible to see there for sure. Meanwhile, looking for other battles happening down throughout this grid. It looks like there's been another driver to lose out. It looks like Funky Theo has dropped positions. Tons of overtaking action happening here. Diamond in 13th now, looking to recover. Not entirely sure if he has any damage on that car. It doesn't appear he does, for him being able to overtake as quickly as he could there. But Custom now in 12th position, falling through. Meanwhile, up at the front of things, Lutra defending against Nigel for lead of this race. They're coming down the hangar straight, down into Stowe now. Nigel round the outside of the Mercedes. Lutra holding him as best he can, and there's contact. He's tapped Lutra. Nigel's off. Lutra's spun, and that's JX in the lead of this race in the racing point, and that's the drama you hate to see, but you love it at the same time. And that's going to be, I imagine, words in the paddock for these two after the race. Meanwhile, Aphrodite into 4th now, currently less than a second separating him from Henners in the racing point, running in 3rd. Wisp is into 2nd position as well, currently 2.9 seconds off of our race leader. DRS has also been enabled here on lap 3. A lot of action in this race. I'm liking it. Battles unfolding all over the circuit right now. Diamond looking for P10. Meanwhile, it's Goldie looking for P4, and we could see a switch between the two Ferraris. We're going to jump on over there in just a moment's time, as it's right now Diamond looking at Custom through Luffield, and Custom's not too far behind Fubar, but we're going to switch on over to the Ferrari. We're coming out of Cops now, coming into Maggots and Beckett's, and Astrolite not too far behind Henry here, but it looks like Goldie carries a lot of speed, way more than his teammate at the moment. DRS now enabled for them as they come down the hangar straight. It looks like we've had an exchange. Fubar in 11th position. Diamond is into 10th, and Custom isn't far from him. We're going to move on with that. DRS enabled, overtake in full swing. Custom defense to the inside. Diamond into 9th position. Going into Stowe. What's Diamond going to do? Is there going to be a switchback? It does not look like it just yet. Meanwhile, Funky Theo not too far away from Ahon in P13. They're going at it down the hangar straight. Ahon a little bit later on the brakes there. The Red Bull looks for a switchback. Is he going to get it? He does. Very nicely done. And he has damage on that front left end plate. But the AlphaTauri with a lunge down the inside. Ooh, very tight racing between these two, and we'll have to come back to that. But meanwhile, it is Astrolite very tight to the rear of the Racing Point. Henner's on the outside right now. Coming out of the Wellington straight, he has lost a position, and it's going to be Goldie not too far behind, having a fantastic view of this action as they move through Luffield. A little bit of a tap there from the Ferrari, some dirt getting kicked up by Astrolite as well. Henner's on his rear quite tight coming through Cops now. How's it going to go coming through Maggots and Beckett's? That is going to be the big question here. We saw Astrolite struggling earlier on versus his teammate. Is he going to struggle just the same versus Henry? That is going to be crucial for him. You can see Henner's carrying a little bit of speed there, but he was a little bit later coming through that left-hander. Now again, DRS and Goldie not too far behind on this action, but down the field it's Kana, and he's going to have a fantastic run here on the Renault. But of course that Renault of Wreck in 7th with the DRS, but is it going to be enough to hold the Williams back? In a very, very confident move there from the Williams. Of course the Renault braking, but the Williams so much confidence round the outside, and now it's Fubar getting ahead of Custom into P10. Custom looking to fight back in the McLaren, and we have so much overtaking action happening right now here in Silverstone. They're wheel to wheel coming through the chicane. That's Custom on the inside, and he has made it work back in front of that Renault. Henner's looking at Astrolite now. They're wheel to wheel. Henner's has made the move ahead, and it's still Goldie on the rear of these two. Astrolite struggling through Luffield, and it's a big lunge from Goldie on the inside, and what a move it was. He is now into 4th position ahead of his teammate, and those are the fireworks you like to see around here. And now it's Henner's turn on the chopping block for the Ferrari. Coming down in through Cops now. Very tight to the rear of that gearbox is Goldie, running a little wide on the exit though, and that is Henner's. Now dropping back a little bit, coming into Maggots, now through Beckett's, and now exiting through Chapel. You can see the number 14 car is in P3. Fantastic stuff from him, and is the Ferrari going to be able to close up and bring it home for the Scuderia in a 3-4 finish? We are here on the final lap, and it looks like Henner's with the run on Goldie going to get through into 3rd, and Astrolite's going to slot through as well. And there's just a major exchange here. Astrolite goes wide coming out of Stowe. Oh man, I gotta really work on my Silverstone terms here. But of course, what a finish it's been. JX taking the race win here at the iconic Silverstone. Wisp crosses the line 2nd, but it's going to be Henner's and Goldie jumping him into that podium places. And it's going to be a 1-2 for the Racing Point squad. And who'd have thought it, but it's Goldie in the Ferrari in P3. What a race. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that one on YouTube, boys.